Did Trevor Lawrence just pull off the biggest win of his career? We're going to talk about it here on our Four Verts post-game show. Welcome in. My name is Harrison Graham. This is what we do. We bring you guys instant reaction after big games, both in the NFL and in college football. Couldn't do a video last night because I was traveling, but got a video out on the channel earlier today. So if you want to go check that out, please subscribe and go to the content tab. That's where you can find all of our videos. And if you just want daily and free NFL and college football coverage, hit that subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it. All right, Jags 31, Chiefs 28. Trevor Lawrence leads a game-winning drive, 275 total yards, 3 touchdowns, just the 1 interception with some controversy. Could have been a PI call. We can get into that in a minute. I don't think that ended up defining the game by any means. Chiefs, we'll get to them as well. 13 penalties. They're just beating themselves. I actually think Patrick Mahomes and the offense are starting to find themselves again, but the self-inflicted wounds continue to be a problem for Kansas City as they fall to 2-3, Jags 4-1. But Trevor Lawrence, listen, the Chiefs did what the Chiefs do, and Patrick Mahomes did what Patrick Mahomes does. Down 3 late, 6-minute drive, go take the lead with less than 2 minutes to go. But everything was in front of Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville to go win the game. Minute 48, 2 timeouts, no reason to not go down and go win that game if you're Trevor Lawrence in that spot. And it felt like a huge moment in his career, did it not? I tweeted this out. This feels like a significant moment in Trevor Lawrence's career. Plenty of time, 2 timeouts, go get it done. And then Harrison Butker kicks it out of bounds, and you're like, okay, you just got the ball at the 40. You got to deliver here, man. Like, this has got to be your night. You've got to go win a game like this. And to his credit, he did. And it didn't start out pretty. He kind of had a weird 4 or 5 yard scramble where he almost got sacked. Then he did get sacked. Liam Cohen has to burn a timeout. They only have 1 left, less than a minute to go. And Trevor Lawrence maybe makes the throw of his career, kind of reminiscent of that Eli Manning to Mario Manningham kind of cover 2 beater where he just lofts a ball just outside of the corner's reach and right before the safety can get there perfectly to Brian Thomas Jr. for about a gain of 43 to be exact, I believe. I mean, you want to talk about a big boy freaking throw when you got to have it. That was onions from Trevor Lawrence, to quote the great Bill Rafferty. That was I don't mean to be hyperbolic here. That was an unbelievable throw for Trevor Lawrence. And then he throws a seed on an out route to De'Ami Brown, and they get a PI call in the end zone on a ball that was actually picked off. But it was a good call. Defender didn't turn around. He was face guarding with contact. And then, 1st and goal at the 1, left guard steps on Trevor Lawrence. He falls down, gets up, and just walks into the end zone, basically. The Chiefs couldn't tackle him. So, big moment for him in his career. And again, I know people are going to say, it's not the biggest win of his career. It's week 5. He won a playoff game, led this huge comeback against the Chargers 3 years ago. I'm aware. But considering how poorly the last couple of years have gone, I mean, think about this. He wins a playoff game. He has an up and down next season with some injuries. They pay him despite having a down year. Last year, he plays even worse, gets injured again and misses some time. They fire his 2nd head coach. Now he gets his 3rd head coach in Liam Cohen. It's kind of like, look, you probably got a year, maybe 2 with Liam, and if you don't make strides, you're gone. That's kind of how this works. And it has not been a glorious start necessarily. There's a lot of pre-snap issues with this new offense. They took a couple delay of games, including one on the final drive, which he overcame. And it has not always been pretty, despite them being 4-1. But to make those plays when you had to have it tonight, by the way, they trailed 14-0, and he tried the old Drew Brees jump over the defensive line QB sneak. Ball got punched out on a 4th and goal. That was a huge play early. That went Kansas City's way. It's a good call. He did not cross the plane. To overcome that adversity, I feel like Trevor would have folded in the past. I feel like he's playing with a little more attitude than before. He's running more, which I like. He's a good athlete. He can move. I mean, tonight he had, let me just pull up the numbers here. 10 carries, 54 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, including the game winner. He's kind of like a gazelle. He kind of just glides. Takes too many hits. There was one scramble where I'm like, slide, slide, slide. And then, he takes a shoulder to shoulder hit. And I'm like, I don't love that. But I do think he should run more. 18 of 25, 221, a touchdown, a pick. I mean, it doesn't blow you away, but, he kept punching back. He kept punching back against, one of the titans of the sport in Patrick Mahomes. So it feels like a significant moment. Now, am I sitting here acting like, okay, Trevor Lawrence's career is going to launch from here? Not necessarily. You need to see more. But if he goes on a nice run here this year and obviously for years to come, I do think this could be one of those moments that we look back at and it's like, okay, his career, the trajectory, it kind of got back on track there. Because after 2022, it felt like Trevor was going to kind of establish himself as, one of the, not like in the Mahomes tier, but like, this is going to be a top 10 guy moving forward. And that the Jags were going to enter that conversation in the AFC. It didn't happen. They fired Doug Peterson. It goes off the rails. Trevor doesn't play well. Then they hire Liam Cohen, and he has this just goofy-ass press conference, and you're just like, okay, I mean, is this guy, is he going to know what he's doing? And listen, defense is playing well, seems to have hired a good staff. They're 4-1. Doesn't matter how, matters how many. 4-1 start. Can't ask for much more. I mean, I think Liam Cohen would have to be in the conversation for Coach of the Year at this point in the season, would he not? I mean, the Jags so far this year have wins over the Texans, wins over the 49ers, and wins over the Chiefs. Pretty good. I mean, they're kicking themselves losing that game to the Bengals in week 2. Joe Burrow left early in that game. They still lost. But listen, if you're a Jags fan, you wake up 4-1 tomorrow, you're feeling pretty damn good about yourself. All right, we will talk more about this game, take a look at the Chiefs side of things, and then kind of look big picture for both squads. But first, I want to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor, PrizePicks. Daily fantasy made easy at prizepicks.com/CLNS. You and I make decisions every day, but being right on PrizePicks can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. The way PrizePicks works is simple. It's this. You pick 2 or more players, up to 6 players in a single lineup, and pick more or less on their stat projections. I got to say, guys, I'm on an all-time heater. Hit again tonight on a 3-player lineup of more than 4.5 rushing yards for Xavier Worthy, more than Trevor Lawrence, half a touchdown pass. He did throw one. And then what was the third player in the lineup? More than 27.5 rushing yards for Isiah Pacheco. Hit by the third quarter. I'm like, oh my God, I'm on a heater. $20 entry to win $70. Just an example of what a lineup can look like. Plenty of stats available: passing yards, rushing yards, receiving, combo stats, other sports as well. We got the baseball playoffs going on, hockey getting going here, basketball around the corner. You can mix and match your sports within a single lineup. 2 or more players from 2 or more different teams qualifies as a lineup. Get started today. Download the PrizePicks app. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Okay, let's look at the Chiefs side of this. Obviously, a huge win for the Jags. Big picture, I do want to say this. I'm actually, in a lot of ways, encouraged from the Chiefs because the last couple of years, obviously, they've gone to 2 Super Bowls, won 1. But the offense at times, a lot of the time, has just been kind of clunky, right? They haven't had a lot of speed and big-time playmakers on the perimeter. The offensive line at times has had some issues. And they've just kind of invested more defensively the last couple of years. When they traded Tyreek Hill, that was kind of the direction they went. The 2 big players they drafted as a result of that trade essentially were Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis. Okay. Well, this year, and Rashee Rice isn't even back yet, but their passing game feels mostly back. Now, there's still some things here and there that aren't quite clicking. The deep ball is kind of hit and miss with Mahomes, but the intermediate passing, like the over the middle, the deep crossers, they're hitting a lot of those. Tyquan Thornton's emerged as a downfield threat. He provides real speed, 3 catches, 90 yards. Travis Kelce, for people who say he's washed, he is not washed. Doesn't mean he's what he was 4 years ago, but he makes 2 or 3 catches a game that are big. Chain movers, third down, 7 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown tonight. I mean, that's a productive night for a 36-year-old tight end. Hollywood Brown's making guys miss. Like, they're Xavier Worthy's back in the fold, 42 yards tonight. Their passing game, while it's not, peak Tyreek Hill days or anything like that with elite peak level Travis Kelce, like, it's a good passing attack. Patrick Mahomes is playing good ball, especially when you consider they can't run the ball that well. Now, there was better efficiency tonight. Pacheco and Hunt actually combined to average 6 yards per carry tonight on 14 carries. Small sample size, but better signs there. But Mahomes still led them in rushing tonight. 6 carries, 60 yards at a touchdown. He's having the best rushing year of his career. From a pass game standpoint, he's playing well. I tweeted this out when they went up 14-0. I said, I think we're going to wake up tomorrow and Patrick Mahomes is going to be the MVP betting favorite because Josh lost this weekend. Justin Herbert hasn't played as well the last couple of games. Now, he's not going to be the betting favorite since they lost. And he did throw a bad pick on the goal line where Devin Lloyd just kind of read his eyes and jumped the route, 99-yard pick 6. I mean, we can talk about Trevor Lawrence, and we should, but Devin Lloyd in a lot of ways won that game. Instead of going down 21-14, they went up 21-14 at the time. He has 4 picks already on the year, just an unreal season he's having at linebacker. I really liked him coming out of Utah a few years back, and it's kind of been a up and down start to his career, but he's really seemingly clicking, putting it all together this year. But outside of that play, I thought Mahomes was tremendous tonight. But the Chiefs, it kind of evens out over time, right? They were 11-0 in one-score games last year. For the most part, a pretty disciplined team, and I know everybody loves to play the ref card with the Chiefs. They get every call, and they got a dicey PI call in their favor tonight, but there were also a couple that weren't called. I don't think, in a lot of ways, I'm glad the Jags drove down and won the game because I don't think that call was really the story of the game. I thought it was just a fun, entertaining back-and-forth game. We thought Mahomes led the game-winning drive, and then Trevor came back and led one. That was great theater. I'm glad, and I think big picture, it was important for Trevor Lawrence and the Jags to be put in that situation where you're down 4 and you need your $50 million per year quarterback to go win a game. And he did. And so I'm glad the storyline is not that, no call in the PI, but the Chiefs just have been beating themselves in a lot of ways. 13 penalties. That's not an Andy Reid team. And a lot of them were on special teams. I think they had 3 or 4 either holdings, and then they had that double team block call. They just had field position killers, including on the last sequence when they get the ball back with 17 seconds left. The guy returned it out to the 36, I believe, and you're like, okay, you need 1, maybe 2 completions, and Butker's going to have a shot. But not only does the kickoff return take 8 seconds, but it's essentially a 20-yard penalty because instead of the 36, they started at their own 17, and you were going to have to execute 2 or 3 perfect plays to get into range, and it didn't happen, and they lost the game. So just killer self-inflicted wounds. I look at the Chiefs' big picture. They're only a game back in their division. Broncos and Chargers are 3-2. They're 2-3. Rashee Rice comes back after this next game, and Mahomes feels like close to peak form again. I feel okay if I'm the Chiefs. Now, the defense isn't quite as good as it's been, and their special teams units have kind of been a mess. Butker's missed 5 field goals this year. He's got to be better. But if Mahomes is going to play at this level and they clean some things up, I actually think they could end up being a more dangerous team than last year, which is weird to say because they went 15-2 last year. They've already lost 3 times this year. But if Mahomes gets back to his MVP level self, and it feels like he's pretty damn close, then that kind of changes things, in my opinion, for them in the AFC in a conference that feels wide open. Look, the Colts and Jags are great stories. Is anyone out there picking them to win the Super Bowl this year? Making the playoffs is a great result for both of those teams. The Ravens are a mess. The Bills' defense stinks. If I'm the Chiefs, I want to improve my run game a little bit. Over the course of the year, Spags will tighten the screws on the defense. and you get Rashee Rice back. If Josh Simmons continues to develop at left tackle, I think their O-line was actually pretty good tonight, so that played better. I think the Chiefs can be pretty damn dangerous. And for the Jags, listen, I don't view them as some Super Bowl contender, but this is a big win. Liam Cohen doing a hell of a job. Trevor Lawrence, I'm not back in on him on being an elite franchise guy, but playing good ball for the most part. So I think this is just one of those games where kudos to Jacksonville. They battled through adversity, and they deserve to win tonight. And the Chiefs, they just got to clean up the little things. If they cut those penalties in half, what do they win by 10 tonight? Probably. A lot of drives cut short because of penalties, and a lot of Jags drives extended because of penalties as well. You look ahead on both these teams' schedules. Kansas City next week, home against Detroit on Sunday Night Football. So that's going to be a test on a short week, obviously. But then you got the Raiders, Commanders, at Bills, at Broncos. So, Raiders a game you should win easily, but Colts at Dallas. I mean, not an easy schedule here. You get the Titans later in the year if you're the Chiefs. Raiders a second time. Haven't played them yet. Jags, some big tests coming up. I mean, this is a big win for them because next 2 weeks, Seahawks and Rams. And then you got at Houston 2 weeks after that, which could be a huge game because Houston's won 2 in a row. So it kind of feels like this could be a 3-team division with the Colts, Jags, and Texans if the Texans can continue to stack some wins here. So massive win for the Jags. I think they needed it more than Kansas City, despite coming in with the 1 game better record. But big picture, I'd still be encouraged if I was Kansas City. But the disciplinary things is a little alarming. Like 13 penalties. Defense doesn't look super sharp. They can't run the ball. So there are some things to clean up. But if Mahomes is playing well, I think he's gonna give them a chance, and we know they elevate come playoff time. So as long as they're a playoff team, they're going to be a major threat. Good question here, because I mentioned the MVP thing earlier. We'll leave you guys on this as we get out of here. In your opinion, who should be the MVP frontrunner right now? Is it Josh Allen still? I guess probably. I think Mahomes is going to be firmly in that discussion if they win some games and are a playoff team. Lamar with the injury, he's out of it right now. Herbert hasn't played as well the last few weeks. Could a running back enter the mix? Could Jonathan Taylor be in the discussion? He's having a huge year for Indianapolis. Trying to think who else. I mean, Daniel Jones, good story. MVP feels like a stretch. Baker Mayfield? Baker probably be that third guy right now. So you guys let me know. MVP frontrunner through 5 weeks. Who is it? Type your answers down in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. We will be back tomorrow with another video. We appreciate your love, your support. Have a fantastic night. Jags beat the Chiefs. Trevor Lawrence, game-winning drive. Biggest win maybe of his career, for sure since the playoff win. 31-28 to improve to 4-1. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.